Hey, Hillary. Okay. We do it at the onset portrait. I need to make some additional adjustments. The others. I agree. I think there's still a little work to be done, but I think this is just a fantastic start. I think the really neat thing about this assignment, to me, one of my favorite thing about this assignment is that we go over this basic process of of establishing the flat avatar, the technique, right? And I think that my favorite thing about this assignment is that students tend to develop their own style within the parameters of that technique. And I think that's really what it's all about. Okay, now we can all take a tutorial and copy what we see, right? But that's not what it's about. It's about learning a technique and applying your own style. We can clearly see that you've done that here, and I think it's fantastic. So, yeah, there's something throwing us off here. This one's a little bit higher than this. We can see that these perfs don't line up. So that was throwing me a little bit. These are perfectly in alignment. I thought that this was higher. This clipping mask was higher in the composition, but in reality, the whole stamp is actually not. It's a little higher, the whole stamp. So sorry, I just thought I would mention that while I saw it. So as far as these go, I can tell you right now something that's going on. Okay, these two were your first attempts. These two were your second, probably your third, probably your fourth. Why do I say that? And I am positive that that's the case. The reason being is because these are so much more well defined than these. And do you remember me saying way back when I first introduced this assignment? Remember I said you get quick, you get good quick, you develop a style quickly in this assignment, and it's amazing how good you get in between. I mean, you can see drastic differences between the first attempt and the fourth, and I think we see that here, definitely. These are really, the amount of restraint that you're showing in here in these two final illustrations is phenomenal. I mean, over here, though, you're trying to use too much depiction of shadow areas in the facial features, especially over here, where these are just, it looks like face paint. It does. I mean, I don't want to sound discouraging, but I have to be honest with you. These look like these characters are wearing face paint, where these are clearly depictions of shadow and highlight. So I would go back into Bruce and Jimmy, and I would go ahead and really try to refine the tonal variations in a more subtle way so that they're not quite so drastic. As you have found out, undoubtedly, adding hair highlights and developing the technique for the hair really adds an enormous amount of volume. I know you said you're not done, you have more to do, but I got to tell you, these two are fantastic. These two are emerging. Let's put it like that, okay? One thing you want to do is make sure your type is identically located in all four stamps, okay? So don't move the type based on where the character sits, okay? You'll have to there's no reason that forever can't be right up here. You can do it, sure, why not? Or however, wherever it is, you know, sure, why not? It doesn't have, just because it's encroaching over the hair, that doesn't matter at all. Some of the nose techniques, I think it's really a great idea to come here, take a really close look at how they develop the kind of curvature for the cheeks and the nose, as well as the shadow and highlight areas there, and try to develop that, try to transpose that into your particular style that you've developed, because I think that these are underdeveloped right here. Don't be afraid to use eyelashes on the male characters. Of course, they're not going to be as prominent as that. Of course they're not, right? But you know, small eyelashes, I think, will add a nice contrast specifically to the area of interest in these, and that is the eyes. Okay, so yeah, definitely coming along beautifully. I'm just really looking forward. That's phenomenal. These are great. Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm not sounding discouraging saying these are so much more well refined than these, and we see that it's common. It happens all the time. You clearly see differences between the first iterations and the last iterations. And as I said, remember I mentioned way back in week 6 when we introduced this assignment, I said students will quite often, when you're finished with the fourth, go back and start on the first and second, because the style and the technique advances quite rapidly. So you might want to go back and start using some of those refinements that you've learned in your first illustrations. And that's certainly the case here. All right, so if you have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know. But I'm super pleased with what's happening so far. So let me know. All right, great job. Thank you.